Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. The roadmap has been updated, and it is a very exciting update. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for the support, it is truly appreciated. And if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. So let's start with the release viewer changes and Alpha 320. The first new addition coming in Alpha 320 are the physicalized cargo updates, which says adding new functionality to accommodate the release of the MISC Hull C, which includes both automated cargo loading at LEO stations as well as SEU containers up to 32 standard cargo units. So these are a few pretty significant updates for cargo hauling, of course allowing the Hull C to load up on cargo at the stations, not at landing zones as the Hull C cannot land with its spindles out, but also the inclusion of what seems to be a timer for the loading and unloading process, but also 32 SEU cargo boxes, and hopefully this also means cargo sizes in between the 1 SEU and 32, as there were some leaks showing cargo boxes in the works of 2, 4, I think it was 6, 8, 10, 16, and of course 32 SEU, unless it is just the 32 SEU cargo containers specifically for the Hull C, with other boxes maybe coming in a later patch. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But this update, I suppose, is no surprise. We knew the Hull C was coming along for 320, and these additions were inevitable to accommodate that. Now, there is one other significant change for the release viewer, and a new addition as well, which is the intention of a 320.x patch that will bring the Crusader Spirit A1, being the bomber variant of the Spirit range. There is no word on the C1, even though that is somewhere close to being done. The E1 likely won't come along until passenger transport is on the cards, and there are no dates for when this 320.x patch will drop. However, it does somewhat solidify my suspicion that the 320 patch will be coming before its intended Q3 release, so the end of September. The 320x patch could equally be the Christmas patch or somewhere in between. We will have to see. I don't know, obviously this is just speculation. Another reason though that I think the 320 patch will come a little earlier is because the new Crusader platforms and new mission retrieve consignment features, both originally slated for 320, were pushed back to the 320.x patch as they did not pass their final review due to issues with the Rastar tool. It does say that these two features will remain in the 320 column for now, but they will move that over once the 320.x patch is up on the release viewer. So to me, it feels like the 320 patch will release sooner than its Q3 date, with maybe 320x being another content-rich patch to keep us going while they continue to push with the server meshing and 4.0 build. Again, I could be wrong, I'm just putting out what I'm feeling here. Do let me know in the comments whether you think we will see 320 come early, or if you think it is just going to play out as it was suggested on the roadmap with 320 coming at Q3, which would mean a couple of months of PTU testing. Again, not out of the question, I just don't feel it, but that is just me. Anyway, on to the new progress tracker features, and this is where it gets very interesting. There are quite a few new mission types coming in, as well as more reputation updates. The first new mission is called Steal Evidence, which is a criminal mission type where players are tasked to infiltrate security post Korea, stealing files from Crusader for a hefty profit. Now, although this is a new mission to the progress tracker, it is not on the progress tracker yet, even though the rest are. Of course, it will come within time, it's probably just missed off by accident, but it is great to see that the verse is now starting to cater more for criminals and pirates, offering more opportunities for those taking the more nefarious life path, and it should be pretty interesting with all of those changes at Security Post Korea. Now, the next new mission type is called Cargo Hauling, which says making use of the freight elevator feature, and this mission type will have players hauling large quantities of cargo to earn both Alpha UEC and reputation. Now, this mission kicked off its work in late June with a 20-week duration ending in early November. However, the freight elevator work does go on until early December. So we will have to wait and see when this is potentially coming to the verse, as the freight elevators will be needed before this mission type can come out. But finally, we are getting actual cargo missions that also gain rep. Now, this is going to be quite a big step up from the current delivery missions we have now. requiring players to haul larger amounts of cargo around the berth, and again, gaining reputation while doing so, which could likely scale the amount of SEU that you are able to haul for a company based on your rank, starting out at maybe 30, 40 SEU and then up to a whole sea load. What I really hope to see with this mission, or at least shortly after this mission comes and the associated rep, is to be provided with a hauling ship by the company you are doing the job for. To start with, it is likely just going to be a bring your own ship, but for the future, that is definitely a potential. Now, the next new mission is called Steal or Recover Cargo, and this says this mission sees players recovering and or stealing cargo from both derelict and active ships, then hauling the cargo to its intended destination. And this too had 20 weeks work that began and will end around the same time as the cargo hauling mission. Now, what I want to know in regards to this mission is, are these pre-made missions with already placed wrecks and ships for players to get the cargo from, or are they going to tie these into the cargo hauling missions where the players taking these cargo hauling mission jobs act as the missions for players to either steal cargo from or retrieve cargo from to finish the job if they become destroyed, for example? I suspect the end goal is to offer both, but I think it would be very interesting if, say, I took on a cargo hauling mission, got attacked by a criminal who was hired to steal the cargo from me, destroying my ship in the process, with then a mission popping up later on for another player to go and gather up the cargo that was left behind from my wreck and finish the delivery. Again, this is the intention of where they're going with the whole economy, but whether that's coming with these missions or later on is yet to be seen. Now, the final new mission, which is going to be insanely cool, are called Restoration Contracts. Now, let me just read the blurb and then I will tell you more. Now, this says, utilizing the repair functionality of the multi-tool salvage attachment, players are tasked to restore ships from bow to stern, patching up the hull, replacing missing or faulty internal components, and replacing weapon loadouts in the new salvage yard locations. This has the same start and end date for its work as the previous two, but this has so much to talk about. Firstly, this means that players will be patching up all of the damage found on the hulls of the ships using this repair function of the multi-tool, which I presume will range from small areas needed patching up to larger areas, finding and fitting new components and weapons to get the ship functional. But what is even more incredible is that there will be these new salvage yard locations. Now, we have spoken about the possibility, or well, the need for scrapyards ever since Persistence came in and the work going on with the SRV. And as we have seen since Persistence came in, there are ships everywhere, and the need to clean these ships up, it has become very important. So having a scrapyard location where players can take these wrecks to will be very helpful. And these missions could be contracted by the scrapyards asking for wrecks, or even just acting as a location where you could get some extra creds for dropping them off. So much potential with these salvage yards, but for these restoration contracts, I can just imagine heading to the scrapyard planetside, getting to the ship in question, then rummaging through the scrapyard for the needed components and weapons to then fit them into the ship. This will be amazing. I will just make a flask of coffee, get to repairing this ship as the sun goes down over Hurston. Now, not to mention that these locations could offer so much more than just missions, finding components or weapons on the cheap for your own ship, selling items that you found around your travels without having to go to a landing zone, or even potentially finding a ship or a vehicle that you could buy for cheap, so long as you fix them up and get them working again. And I'm sure one day when we can start building our own homesteads and bases, we will be able to create our own scrapyards just by simply towing wrecks back and offering players the choice to browse, haggling over the price of a cooler. I am way too excited right now about this, so be sure to hop over to twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother today and tomorrow between 2 and 5 PM BST, and I will be talking further about it, as well as talking about the rest of the features in this roadmap update. Anyway, let us move on to the reputation updates. First up, we have shop discounts, which grants the players discounts in certain shops based on their reputation with affiliated organizations. Now, the work on shop discounts has a 5-week duration that began late July and so will end late August. And this means, for example, you could do work delivering cargo for Dumper's Depot, and as you complete those jobs, you begin to receive discounts of 5, 10, 20% off goods bought there, that kind of thing. Next, we have hostility, in which the players will encounter AI that are either friendly or hostile based on the player's reputation with the organization that the AI belong to, which also includes different friendly fire thresholds and defense responses. Now this work has 20 weeks, which like we see with the mission work, began at the end of June and will complete around the end of November. And basically if you do a job for say Ninetales and gain rep with them, then they may defend you if they see you getting attacked, to put it very simply. This is a much needed update that I'm so grateful is now actually in the works. And the final reputation update is called Sandbox Triggers, and this will allow for players to have their reputation increase or decrease with organizations based on their actions in the persistent universe, separate from doing missions, which in turn will either allow or prevent players from accepting certain missions for certain orgs. And for this work, there was only again a 5-week duration that kicked off at the end of June, so we'll be completing around late July, and according to the progress tracker, looks like it might already be done. Now for this, for example, you might kill a Ninetales while out on your travels, outside of doing the mission, and then that will remove the potential for you to accept Ninetale missions until you gain rep with them again. And this is another much needed addition that will make the burst feel more like it is reacting to your actions. But there you have it. That is this fortnight's roadmap update. Very excited to see the salvage yards coming along, offering those types of restoration contracts, but also when the SRV does come, providing a location to cash in on the ships that have been left to rot, while also cleaning up the servers. Not to mention the cargo updates and missions, and all of the work now going on with reputation since the mission feature team took control of this rep system. The near future is looking very rosy for Star Citizen, and I am getting way too excited. Hopefully we'll hear more about all of this stuff at CitizenCon, but with that said, if you do appreciate my videos, please do consider subscribing. As I say, come and hang out over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother. The link is in the description below. We will be talking heavily about all of this today. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.